necromancers. Good day to you, partner. I'm Guy, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken kingdom.
Wheat Solo here, aka the Skeleton King. I am really excited for this video. I'm really excited for future videos, and it felt really good to play Necromancer again, and I felt like I was pretty rusty at playing an actual fast build that is somewhat optimal. My poor mercenary has dog shit terrible gear that actually could be better. We have some declone boots on non-ladder. Um, I'm not sure what our best Tyrael's might is, funny enough. But I know we have a better beast somewhere, and the helm, Griffin's is probably okay. If you're wondering why I'm using the Act 3 static shock merc, you can use the Act 3 cold merc on this build. You could obviously use Act 1 physical because Act 1 physical just does whatever you want. But I actually think Act 3 is optimal. Now, does that mean I think Act 3 is optimal on every summoner build? At a certain point, I think Act 3 is faster than Act 1. Yes, I really, really do. I'm not sure this video is proof of it, but I think this video shows the direction of how Summoner can be faster without relying on the Act 1 physical merc, who, by all means, is a very, very good merc in-game as well. So as you can see, my gear is pretty good. I wouldn't call it min-maxed. There's some things I would like to change about it. There's also some other options on this. You know, I kind of want to just talk freeform in this video, do some of those old Wheat Solo style ramblings on this build, Necromancer being optimal in general, and what I think about the state of Necromancer is right now. By the way, I do a 5-minute 30 Blood Moon map with pretty high density, kind of dangerous mods, but overall good mods because it's got flares on it and velocity. So now to the ranting. Revives are so good, and what I want you to focus on in this video is how good Hydras are. And so while I think the brand version of this build is fun, cool, and interesting, and viable, there's no reason to run this over Eternity. Mainly because you get a shield. That's Eternity's kind of just better, but also you get a shield. Like, revives are really good, so more revives is really good. But archers are really good too, but you get a shield, and revives are also better. So just remember that. Revives are good, guys. Now, again, people sometimes complain about getting revives. I think it's a little silly. I don't think revives are that hard to get. By the way, I think my play is really unoptimal on this map, which is kind of something I want to talk about a bit, which is curse radius. And I think I'm just not used to these small curse radiuses. You got to understand, guys, I'm washed. I don't play this game anymore very much. I think the most I played was my ATD Druid season where I got to level 95, which is not very hard to get. And that was kind of fun, but it was kind of funny that the longest I played since Season 2 was for a Pacifist Druid. And so I'm just still not used to small curse radius. And literally once I started the map and I started casting curses, I was like, oh my god, this is such dog shit, dude. Such dog shit. So what I think I would do is... On Eternity, it's really easy. On Eternity, you just go lower resist, okay? Now, you'd probably run archers on that build as well because archers are just that good in-game. There might be a version of the build where you skip archers, go mages, fire golems. There's kind of a lot you could do with Optimal Summoner, which is mainly around these 4 summons. Fire golem, mage, archer, and revive. They're all so good in-game in their own rights. And mages are just good all the time, and revives are just insane all the time. And so, you know, even fire golems you can actually play at the start of ladder and have quite a bit of success with, so just don't forget that. But the problem with running this brand build is I think you do want amp, but it might actually be faster to drop amp, put more points in the LR to get a bigger radius, maybe cut some points from skeletal mastery, one of the interesting things about this build is it's kind of hard to get everything you want. And I think Skeletal Mastery is an idea to cut points from. But again, this is the brand version of Optimal Summoner. By the way, when I say Optimal Summoner just means any build that is focused around revives mages and archers. Or fire golems a little bit. That's any optimal summoner. So even a green goblin could be an optimal summoner if they're running that skill distribution. Now, can you run a very competitive Tri-Skelly build? Yes, MCH ran a very fast Tri-Skelly build. I don't even think he ran Act 1 Physical, funny enough, and still had great map times. I'm not sure he was running Act 3 Static either. I think he was running Act 3 Cold. And I tried to convince him that Act 3 Static was better. So talking about that, why would you run Act 3 Cold? Well, Act 3 Cold actually does more consistent damage, but he doesn't have static field, which is just insane. But you get the CC. But I mean, just look at the screen right now, okay? Like literally every single enemy gets staticked, okay? So that means literally every enemy I'm facing has 75% health. One final note on health. I don't think cows are actually the best map for optimal summoners. I think cows are a little too beefy. And I think a map with a little more weak plebeians on it are actually the best map for it. Now, why I chose to run cows is because kind of just everybody has used cows for benchmarks, even if it's really not a good benchmark map. But I guess it's kind of like I'm a victim of the system. So to have you guys understand clear speed, it's kind of just the best one to do. And I think this build still does very good on it. Now, coming up, I'm going to actually almost die, yes, right here, because I stomp in the middle, and I must just get targeted a couple of times, and there you go. And if I had a shield on, that probably doesn't happen, because with the Exile Merc, I have a shit ton of defense. Now, the defense on my gear isn't optimal, and that's something to go into real quickly. Do you have to use Enigma? Well, if you're running a static Shock Merc, it's kind of hard to not run Ligma. And Ligma really helps you avoid life after each kill or regen as a summoner necromancer, because you can basically use blink and then weave in your blood warps. I don't think I showed it, but actually my blood warp isn't at skill level 30 for this map, which gets in my way a couple of times when I have to warp a little too often. But basically, if I just weave in blood warp with blink, I don't really run out of teleports, and then I also don't eat through my life too much, and I don't have to actually pot that much. Now, I should have actually showed my life, as I can see now. You just see my stupid face looking at the screen. But it's really, really not that bad. I don't even think actually the Prayer Merc would make that much of a difference. I really don't. And Static Field just, again, it's just every enemy in the game, just put a flag on them that says they have 3/4 health. I don't see how you wouldn't think that is good. So I really wish curses had a bigger radius. I kind of know why they nerfed them. I just think it's too hard to scale them bigger. Yeah, I just wish curses had a bigger radius. And basically, I think that's one of the reasons why this version of the build will never be that good, is since you're running so many archers, and you're relying on them, I think you need two curses. Could you go Fizz Revives? No, it wouldn't function. You got to understand that one of the reasons Optimal Summoner functions the way it does is because of Hydras. And in fact, I think I should clarify, I think Optimal Summoner is always going to be a necromancer that uses council members for Hydras, because that is kind of what created the optimal summoner for Topwig and I in Season 3, I believe, was our first season doing optimal summoner. So this is me showing that the map is pretty clear. There's a few stragglers, 1 or 2 packs I miss. But I think for the most part, this is as clear as you want to do a map and still retain your own clear speed. And I'm very okay with it. Maybe somebody won't be okay with it. What's the last word on this version of the build? Should you make it? If you really like archers, yes, it's a very good optimal summoner. I think, in fact, it might be better than Grimm's Burning Scythe. I really do. Grimm's Burning Scythe would be a little easier to make just because of the fact you don't have to deal with amplified damage. But I think in-game overall, archers are a bit better. And again, I don't even have an Infinity Iron Golem. And technically, Optimal Summoner runs an Infinity Iron Golem. So, that's it for now, guys. Skelly King out. GG.
Come and play with us, Daddy. Forever.